Eden Zero is back, and one of my theories has actually been confirmed. Not in the way that I thought it would be, but we'll get to that. First, I would actually like to talk about two more theories that I have been thinking about for the last week. Okay, so does everyone remember this guy? I really cannot pronounce his name, but he's one of the Heavenly Knights of the Dancing Sakura. He's basically one of the great warriors heroes that got the cosmos through the Dark Ages. Dark Ages took place 1,000 years ago, but that's not really relevant. The important thing is that he is the one who taught gravity ether to Ziggy. Except that's not actually true, because Ziggy is Shiki from Universe 2. And Universe 2 Ziggy had the exact same life as Universe 3 Shiki, except for the simple fact that he chose to try to stop the bombs on Nero 66. Which means he was taught his gravity by Ziggy. Ziggy was taught by Ziggy. So if this guy is saying that he's the one who taught Ziggy gravity powers, that would imply he's actually Ziggy, which in turn means he's Shiki. So if that's true, this guy is Shiki, who apparently somehow went back in time 1,000 years from, already went back 20,000 years, but now went back an extra 1,000 years and decided to fight in the Dark Ages for some reason. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know any of that, but if you've ever seen Rave Master, something similar did happen, where a character went back in time and basically became a guardian for a certain place for like 50 years and basically turned into a skeleton at that point. In this turn, this guy turned into a robot. Well, it was a human who turned into a robot. So that's what happens to all Ziggies at this point. They all turn to humans from robots. But still, yeah, this guy might be Shiki. An alternate timeline. Yeah, there might be 3 Shikis running around. Okay, so that's theory number 1. Theory number 2, this one's actually a lot sadder. Okay, so Ziggy was told that he has to go back 20,000 years into Universe 0, so this way he can save everyone and every universe. Now, the universes have a tendency to split when Rebecca uses Cat Leaper. Well, when was the first time Rebecca used Cat Leaper? It's when Happy was ran over by a car. But the thing is, Happy wasn't the one who got ran over. Happy and Rebecca originally got ran over, but then Rebecca's power automatically activated and saved her life. And only Happy got destroyed, and then Old Weiss turned him into a robot. You see, we know that this is the first split, because in Universe 1, Rebecca had that backstory of how Happy got wrecked, and we go through that entire experience where Shiki 1 eventually gets shot and killed, and then she uses Cat Leaper and ends up in Universe 2. Which means, Universe 0, for everything to go right, you have to stop Rebecca from using Cat Leaper to save her own life. Which means you have to let Rebecca die as a child. Yeah, that's my theory. To save the world from going extinct 20,000 years in the future, you basically have to let Rebecca die in Universe 0, which will basically kind of like erase. Well, not prevent her from, she's going to die in Universe 0 no matter what, but you have to prevent her from cat leaping, which sends her into Universe 1. And this continues the process of every version of her constantly using Cat Leaper to save their own lives and such, or save someone else's life. So yeah, we might have a really sad ending to this story. I am unsure, but that seems to be the path that we're heading on. Okay, now that my theorizing is done, let's go talk about the chapter. So, Shiki then immediately, after getting that entire story, asks, so the Eden Zero can time travel? And Ziggy says, yes. So the Etherion, and this is where my theory was right, is in fact a person. That's what I theorized it back when I was talking about it in another video. Show you what it is here, that video. My theory was that the Etherion wasn't some kind of weapon or anything like that, or if it was a weapon, it was actually a person with a special type of ether or whatever that allowed them to do something. The thing is that I thought it would be a third party that we didn't know about, and I also didn't know the person would be dead. Because the Etherion in the secret room on the Eden Zero is actually Rebecca's corpse, the one from 20,000 years in the future. Yeah, so that's how the Eden Zero is able to time travel. It uses the ether, that's the Cat Leaper ether that's inside of Lucy's corpse. So she's like, so it's Rebecca's and yours body from 20,000 years in the future? And he responds with something, well, no, and yes. It's from 20,000 years in the future, but it's also from Universe 3173, which is why the door is labeled with those numbers. Yeah, so she straight up says that in that universe, 3173, he never existed. Like, there is no Shiki there. And, but it is a fixed point where everything eventually leads to that point, no matter what universe it is. And him going into the future and then back in time led to the creation of his birth, in a sense, apparently he's saying, and that had ripples effects that lead to all other universes existing. I know that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but Shiki doesn't even get it himself either. Like, Ziggy is purposely keeping information half true. So, Shiki asked the question that I asked last week, which is, if you're a hero from the future, why are you trying to wipe out humanity if your job is to save them, to save the androids? And Ziggy's response is, you don't need to know that. So yeah, he's telling Shiki half-truths and keeping important information to himself. So yeah, Shiki's kind of sick and tired of the fact that Ziggy isn't telling him anything important. And he says, I'm saddened by the fact that this is what I become. And he goes, wait, no, you're just not me. Like, you're the problem, not... And Ziggy agrees with him, and he goes, yeah, I'm no longer... I am Ziggy, the mechanical king. And he goes into fucking overdrive. And he says that he's going to wipe out the ghost of his past and take back the Etherion. So yeah, Sister and Hermit are listening to the conversation back on the Eden Zero. And they're both basically confused, as well as Shiki and the audience, because Hermit straight up points out that there are a bunch of contradictions in Ziggy's story. It's nice when characters have the same brain power as the audience and they can realize these kind of things, because one of the contradictions is, if Ziggy doesn't exist in Universe 3173, how is there a B cube with the words Eden Zero on it? Sister then tells him to not worry about it because she'll get all the answers out of Clown, and she basically starts torturing him, saying, okay, why does Ziggy want to kill humanity? Why does he want to wipe out Mother? And why does he want the Etherion? What is the point of all that? Hermit also puts together the fact that if Ziggy and the Eden Zero didn't exist in Universe 3173, then that means neither did the Shining Stars. And she asks, why were we created? What is our purpose? Which, yeah, I've been asking that question for a while myself, ever since we learned that they used to be humans. So, back inside Deadend Crow, Holy's arm isn't really working. It seems to be completely broken when, Crow broke it. Lagna tells her to cry, and she's like, what? And he just pulls out an onion. Now, would seem like a gag, except for the fact that he's done this before, where he carries around stuff that makes people cry, because that's how his power works. So she tears up a bit, because of the onion, and he turns her arm to water, and then, of course, he reforms it, and it's completely healed. She's still hurt, but the point is, he's apparently able to reconstruct things after he deconstructs them into water, which makes perfect sense. Otherwise, he'd kill people anytime he, turn them into water. Holy then says his power is pretty useful, but he's like, no, mine requires conditions, yours is way better. And so as they get closer and closer to his core, a bunch of mini Deadend Crows basically appear and basically like antibodies and attack them. They're wrecking them like they're nothing. Like they're pretty weak. Like they're not like the real Deadend Crow. They're just literally just little germs basically that they can just get rid of. No, the real problem is the fact that all of a sudden their ether gear just stops working and they can't properly fight against these things. And that's because Keely was caught by Deadend Crow in her ship, and right before he just crushes her to death, she ejects. And the last scene of the chapter is Keely getting fucking pounded into the ground by Deadend Crow as she apologizes to her brother. Okay, if this was any other shonen, I would be like, okay, I guess she'll get up back later or someone will heal her. But this is Eden Zero we're talking about. She could be dead right now because that was a massive fucking attack. Like, the ground itself just shakes. Like, the buildings are rattling. Like, Deadend Crow is a massive, giant robot after all. So yeah, Keely might be dead, and Holy and her crew currently sitting inside of Deadend Crow are without ether, so they're probably gonna get fucking wrecked. Yeah, so everything's just going to shit at the moment. Ziggy's finally taking the fight seriously, going ether gear. Keely is gone. Their Feather and them are screwed. The people on the Eden Zero are basically about to get smashed by Deadend Crow's real body. Oh, and let's not forget that Agnolia is currently about to fucking wreck Justice and Elsa, because Elsa is currently tied up and Justice is unwilling to fight alongside her. So yeah, everything's going to shit. But I've been enjoying myself. This was a great chapter. I'm glad that one of my theories was confirmed. Not in the way that I thought it would be, but it was still confirmed. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, so you can enjoy more Eden Zero and other anime things. Thank you, and have a great day.